We lived on the McDonald farm. Mrs. McDonald gave my family a chance to buy the land, and my mother, they needed $500. My dad did not have $500. But my mother had saved in a Karo syrup can underneath the house. So she was the one who had the $500 to purchase the land. I'll never forget that.
So does your family still own that land?
Yes.
Wow.
But the interesting thing, of course, about it is, yes, we still own it, but once, my mother always said that when you own something with somebody else, you really don't own anything. So, I mean, yes, we own it as a family, but she told us, she said, now I want each one of you to work to have your own piece of land, your own house, because when you own with somebody else, she said, you really don't own anything.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. That's wise.
Yes.
In that house, did you guys have electricity or air conditionings, telephones, any type of
Not one of those that you've mentioned. We didn't have a fan for some time. I don't remember a fan. I just remember raising the windows. And I didn't know about, we didn't have a telephone in our house until I'd left home and gone to college. But my aunt, the school teacher who took me, Maggie Reese, had a phone, and her number was 785-1441. I still remember that number. And I said, if I ever have a telephone, I will never change my number. Because no matter where I went, I felt that if I were distressed, I could call 785-1441. And Maggie Reese would get me in touch with the people that I need to be in touch with. So I've never changed my number. My husband and I agree that it's still 784-8260. That's the only number I've had.
No cell phone?
I have a cell phone, but I don't use it that much. But I'm going to do better because it's not fair of me to be able to get in touch with them, and they can't get in touch with me, so that's not fair. So.
Totally understand, because my mom was the same way. I don't need no cell phone.
Oh, really? I'm not the only one. I'm so happy.
I'm just like, Mom, but you gotta, and she lives all the way up north. She still lives up there, and it's like, well, we can't keep call and collect, you know?
Okay.
But
what age is your mom?
She is, I can't give you she won't tell me now.
Some people don't tell their age, okay?
Yes.
I was with the lady who just would not tell hers either.
The last time I knew how old she was 43, and I was still in somebody's pull-ups.
Okay.
So I think she's in the 60 to 65 range.
Okay.
She's somewhere up in there. Yeah, well, I'm the youngest, and I'm about to turn 21, and the oldest goes all the way up to, I think, 36 at this point. So, yeah, she won't tell me. I'm actually get on her.
She's probably about 10 years younger than I am, I bet.
Her birthday is coming up. I want to know how old.
Congratulations on the game.
Okay, let's see.
Great game. Congratulations. It was fun to watch.
You were on the bench, right?
No.
The whole game. I saw you on the bench looking sour.
Yeah.
Were there any special items in the house that you remember? Well, we got the piano.
I do. The trunk.
The trunk.
I remember the trunk.
Was it like a hope chest?
Yes. I just remember how my mother would have our diplomas. She was always so proud of a diploma or whatever we received. It didn't matter. It went to the trunk. So I feel like our whole lives were represented with the trunk. Yeah.
Is that something that's still in the family, or
no?
No.
I hate to say it's at the house, but it's not like it's special. It's in the backyard and in the house there.
Yeah.
So
we need to pull that out of retirement.
I guess think of pictures. My mother loved pictures, and they're still at our. Because my brother still lives in the home place.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have a brother who's never married, and he lives at the place where we live. Not the first house, not the house with the hallway and all that.
Okay.
Then we moved to another house. So we only lived in 2 houses when we were growing up.
Is it like I don't know how to put it, but is it like a plantation home type of build, or is it like
No,
city home?
It's more like kind of like a city home. 3 bedrooms, just a common garage, 1-car garage, and we have tractors, John Deere's. That's always special. Anything John Deere reminds me of my parents.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, I guess my earliest childhood memory would be when I was 4 years old. I picked 100 pounds of cotton.
Wow.
And my daddy wanted to have my picture put in the paper, and my mother said, no, she will not. I don't want her picture in the paper. So it has to be something else, but not that. I remember, see, that's a childhood memory. This is another one. Now I was a little older. My school always at the end of the year would go on a picnic to Lake Texoma, and I don't remember what happened. How I was always afraid of water because I didn't learn how to swim. But somehow or another, I don't know if somebody pulled me in the water. I cannot say that. I don't remember. I just know I was out there. And I remember I heard people say, if you go down for the third time, that means that's it. And I remember going down for the third time. And to this day, I do not remember who came and got me. I just know that I didn't drown.
Okay.
So I have this this belief in miracles. And because I don't remember, maybe it was because I was so glad that I didn't drown, but I do not remember whether it was one of the teachers or whether it was, I don't know. I just know that I was drowning, but I was rescued.
Wow.
So that's a memory. I have many memories going to the Denison Dam. Every 19th of June. You don't know what that is, 19th of June? Juneteenth, okay. We would
celebrate at our church.
Okay, we would celebrate it by going to the Denison Dam. My dad would always take us there and spend the day. It's a picnic, water area, swimming.
And it would be like a community would come out.
That's right. And that was a big event in our lives.
See, from Wills Point, that's where my family lives now. That's actually where I graduated from in high school. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We celebrate Juneteenth with a parade.
And you know why it's called Juneteenth? Because the slaves in Texas, in the South, didn't know they were free.
Yeah, until
the cotton was cleared. Okay.
Wow. I'll have to make a little mental note of that. I knew we celebrated it, something for African American history.
Okay.
They might even said that, but
Okay.
church.
Okay.
12, 13. I'm just playing with my older sisters.
Right.
So it's good to know that now. Describe the personalities of your family members.
My mother.
Top three.
The top three. Okay. My grandfather was a very, I want to say, dignified, a very organized, a person in charge.
He was like an authority type of figure.
Very much. And I respected him very highly. He loved his family. He provided for his family. And he wanted to teach them to live good, moral lives. I didn't know him on like some children know their grandparents. I would not have dared to jump in his lap. And that I didn't have that kind of relation. I always saw him as this authoritative person in my life.
Yeah.
But I respected him highly. And I always remember that he asked me, I'm the oldest grandchild, remember. When I had my first child, he said, I just have one request. Would you please call it a name that I can pronounce? And so I named my children Jerry, Judy, and Jason because of my grandfather. My father, I respected very highly. My father was fair as a parent. I don't think there was, and I'm not trying to idolize my parents, so I hope that's how it doesn't come across. But I just think I had the most wonderful parents. I know I could never be the parents that they were. Because not only did they care about us, but they looked after other children in the community. My mother was a school bus driver, and children in the neighborhood would come, and I don't care when she cooked, she never cooked just for her family. She cooked a meal for who I've never known anybody come to our house, then we didn't have enough food for them to eat. So, in fact, sometimes I feel that she looked out for others before she looked after us, but that's just how she was. I have so many special people in my life, in my family, that not necessarily about education, but they were just they cared about other people. I don't know of anybody in my family that I even think of that I grew up with that I felt ever tried to beat anybody out of anything or take advantage of anybody. So.
No, see.
I remember my family. My dad was a lay person in the Methodist church, and my mother was never wanted to be in any kind of organization or anything. But she was the secretary at the church, and I just remember this book. And every time there was a list of members, they always had paid money. I can remember $1, which didn't seem much then, but they all. The point that was interesting to me is that, and special, is that they always gave something consistently, not $1 here and $1, but every time I ever looked at the book, I saw my parents' name.
My parents, they're in an old Methodist church. That's their home church.
Oh, really?
Yes.
A Methodist. Ah.
St. Mark's CME Church.
Really? Well, we were St. Mark too.
Really?
That's right.
Wow. My dad he was the chairman of the board.
Okay.
But he said he had to let that step down.
Let somebody else do that.
Yes. And we were like, so we asked him, we said, are you going to be a preacher? He said, I haven't gotten that call yet, so I'm going to just stay in my seat. And we were like, okay. And then his wife, she was also, she was over the youth. She was secretary. She was over the, what do they call it? The ladies who wear the white on first Sunday. I can't remember.
Oh, the deacons.
Yeah.
For the communion.
The missionaries.
Okay.
Yeah. She was head of them, and so
okay.
Kind of know what you're talking about. Next question is, what kind of games did you play growing up? Hopscotch.
Yes.
Did y'all
and tic-tac-toe? Yes, we had our softball, of course. But yeah, softball and basketball. I believe that's it.
That's it.
Ring around the roses. A pocket full of toesies. First, you know it better than I do that one.
I can remember
all
that
fall
one.
Down.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, what was your favorite toy and why?
My favorite toy was a little bed with dolls in it because I always wanted to be a teacher, and my little brothers and sisters would not allow me to teach them, so I taught my dolls. I put them to bed. I read to them before they went to bed, and I had them sit up so I could teach them how to subtract 4 minus 2.
That is so adorable. I was never really into dolls. I don't know. I always,
for one thing, I always felt, I didn't play with toys a lot because I watched my mother. I remember one day, and I don't know how old I was, I just remember seeing my mother. I looked out this door, and I was very young, and I saw my mother come in from the fields, and I said to myself, if I don't get in here and help my mother, she's not going to be here. She's not, because she's tired. So I tried to do as much as I could, cleaning. I'd watch my mother, and I would try to clean that house. My sister was born. I was 7 years old when she was born, and that was my baby. I was going to save my mother all that I could because she had too much to do. So I didn't spend a lot of time playing.
Let me see what we got here. What was your favorite thing to do for fun? Like movies, go to the beach, things like that, like activities.
Okay. I would say my favorite was playing the games that I mentioned, walking down the road to my grandma's house, and I had an aunt whom I adored, and my mother would tell me I could go and visit with her. My mother was in the fields working, and she told me when the shorthand was on 4 and the longhand was on 12, because I didn't know how to tell time, that I could go to my aunt's house. So I would take the little hands on the clock, and I would move them up just a little bit. So by the time the shorthand was on 4 and the longhand was on 12, it was about 2:30, until my mother found out what was going on.
Oh, I was going to say, did she ever
find out? So I loved to go. Yes, she did. And I don't know how long it was, but she did find out. I would love to go and visit with my aunt and help her. She would teach me how to clean out the refrigerator. And she would talk to me. She didn't treat me like I was a little girl that didn't know anything. She was just, I was her friend. And I adored my Aunt Alma.
That's beautiful. Did you have family chores? What
Yes.
were they? And
Yes,
which
I had
was
family
your favorite,
chores,
least favorite?
making beds, cleaning the house, washing dishes. Now I don't remember cooking. I just remember washing the dishes as my mother cooked. I would watch it. I learned just by being in the presence of her cooking. But I didn't, she told me I had to learn how to make cornbread from scratch. I had to learn how to do a peach cobbler, and I know cornbread, peach cobbler. She told me I had to learn how to make a pudding also, and cook greens. So I go and pick those. And one time I went and she told me to wash these greens, and I thought it's going to take me forever, so I washed them in a 2 or 3, and when we served them and cooked them, the grit was there. I didn't understand why she had to wash them so many times, but I learned.
Yeah.
So a soup, I had to learn how to make stew, because she said, this is what she was saying, and fried chicken. I would hate for her to say this. She said, so if something happens to me, and Berlin can keep y'all together, because she never wanted to think of her children having to be one here with one place and one. She said, I want him to keep y'all together. So you're the oldest. You must learn how to do this. So she taught me the basics on cooking. And I knew how to cook cornbread. And I knew how to cook greens and soup.
What was your least favorite chore?
Chopping cotton.
That was part of your chores?
Yes. I hated it. So hot.
Because that would happen year round or during the season.
And I remember one time I was out there and my dad, I said, Daddy, I'm gonna ever get over there and get. He said, no, you won't. If you're standing up looking over there, he said, but if you hold one row at a time, you will eventually get there. So that's one of an allegory that I live by is you can't do it all at once, but you can do it one row at a time. But you got to get busy doing that row. Because I'm a procrastinator.
Did you receive an allowance? How much? Did you save money or spend it?
We saved. My mom taught us to save because my mother saved. Now I'm not the money manager that I should be, but it's not my mother's fault. It's not my dad's fault because I'm not. It's just because I got careless along the way.
Do you remember how much your allowance was? Or how much y'all got paid for cotton?
I can't say how much, but he would always pay us. Now, I don't know if he paid us, but he said he wanted us to feel some sense of accomplishment. So at the end of the week, we would have money. That might not have been much. I don't remember it being that much, but evidently we was fine with it. I don't remember being sad about what I had.
Yeah. I know when it came to me growing up in an allowance, I never really got, okay, this is going to be your allowance. It was always, you do what's expected of you, and then if you need something. Then,
right. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what it was, because they didn't just pay figure you pay $7 an hour. No, that's not how it was done. But we always had something.
And then I did live with my sister for a summer, because one of my sisters, she was in college before I was even in high school, and she was working. She was a manager